Now I want you to think about the collective. And I want you to think about the matrix and what's going on within the matrix and the total lockdown of the matrix with the second law of thermodynamics and why Jesus Christ came down here. The lockdown took effect when mankind fell. God's dealt with it differently with different times, but the overall lockdown occurred right then, and the curse occurred right then. Second law of thermodynamics. A collective is the, how do I word this? I'm not wording it right. Let me back up. The magnetic spiritual attraction that a person has for Earth when they're born into the system, when they're raised in the system, they work in the system, and they stay in the system, and they're entertained in the system. Then they die in the system. I've tried to point this out before. When Adam and Eve were created, they were at a very, very high frequency level. No matter how you take the Genesis story of eating of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, it doesn't matter if you think it's symbolic or what it was real. And how do we know it's real? Because you have the knowledge of good and you have the knowledge of evil within every brain. Two opposing forces working in total opposition to each other is why you have arguments, why you have issues, why you get angry, why you become filled with joy, why all of these things happen is a direct result of the knowledge of good and evil, and people better wake up to that fact. Now here's the problem. Because evil is a predatory force and love is a stationary force, we are more inclined towards evil, and we are more susceptible to lies and deceptions and delusions than we are to the truth. In point of fact, we hate the real truth, that we're fallen. We hate the real truth, that we need a Messiah. We hate the truth, that we need to be redeemed. So we invent all these religions. We invent all these philosophies. We invent all these governmental systems in order to avoid what the Bible clearly tells us. We don't want to accept it. We won't. So we invent a religion. When Jesus came in here, what did he tell us? Number one, you're in a prison house. Number two, you're blind spiritually. Number three, you're damned to eternal ruin. I came, he said, to set the captives free. Oh, that's the good news. Well, how do we do it, Lord? Enter in. This has all been deleted now. All been deleted. Doesn't exist in modern Christian theology. They have taken, I'm doing a book called The Second Killing of Jesus Christ, because they killed him again by redacting what he said. He said, enter in at the straight gate, walk the narrow way. Now, I know almost everybody absolutely refuses this. If I post something on my blog pertaining to this, it's never reposted. Why is that? Because they don't buy it. They have bought into, all I got to do is believe. All I got to do is have faith, and that's it. And if you tell me I got to do anything at all, then you are bringing another Christ, and you are an anathema. That's what they say. That's what they believe. They're liars, flat out. I'm telling everybody, if you believe this, you're going to hell, period. I fear no contradiction from the Lord, whatever. If you are into this faith and belief, and that's it, I just believe something, you are absolutely in denial of even the book of Hebrews. Oh, that wasn't made for us. That was made for the Jews. No, it wasn't. The whole Bible was made for you personally. It is a love story to you, and if you refuse the love of God, you're going to go to hell. Simple. It's logical. Makes total sense. We're a fallen race. Satan is the overseer. He took control of humanity when the knowledge of good and evil came down. When we ingested that, when humanity took that in, we were lowered to a much lower frequency level. We're born in it, we grow up in it, we live in it, and we die in it. When Jesus Christ came into the planet, he told us one thing that is of real importance. You're fallen, you need a Redeemer, and I am that Redeemer. Reject it, go to hell. Accept it and do what I tell you, you will find the truth, and that truth will set you free. Jesus is the person who locked down this entire system to begin with. He put the cover on the box. He built the lock and the key to unlock it. He's the only one who has the key, folks. It says so right in the book of Revelation. He who has the keys to death and hell. Do what he says. If you hear my words and you do them, verb, not a noun. If you hear my words and do them, you are a wise person. What did he say? What words, Jesus? Ask, seek, knock, strive, labor, continue in my doctrine, and you will find the truth, and the truth will set you free. All of this has been totally redacted by modern Christians. Why do you think Jesus said to the multitudes, "Get away from me, I never knew you"? Ever. Not at any time ever did I come into contact with you. This is scary stuff. This is frightening stuff if you understand it. And I know from Blog Talk Radio and from doing BGR and from doing Borderlands, most people will not accept this as truth. Hence, very dwindling numbers of support. I don't care if my support goes to zero. I told you the truth. Your blood is not on my hands. I am not responsible for the stuff you do or don't do. Don't blame me for it. I'm not going to accept it. I'm not responsible. You are. We're coming up at the end. I've spent 28 years or so telling people the salvation doctrine of modern Christianity is an utter and total fake. And it is. There is no escape from what I'm telling you on this article. You're going into this system, folks. You're either going to do what Jesus Christ said to do and escape it, or you're going into this system. And eternal hell waits. What is eternal hell? A much lower frequency realm. We went from a high frequency to where we are now, a medium frequency, and when you die, if you have not solved this problem with the Lord, you go to a much lower frequency realm. Solve this problem. Get on your knees and ask Jesus Christ for the real truth.